Good morning, everyone. Good morning on Instagram. I see I am live on Instagram. I'm Hank Philippi Ryan, and it is not morning, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. And now I see that I am also live on Facebook. I think I am if you could leave a comment to let me know whether today on First Chapter Fun, whether this afternoon on First Chapter Fun, Facebook is going to let me see the comments. It's never a dull moment. Welcome everyone to First Chapter Fun. It's 12:30 in the afternoon, our new time here on Instagram and here on Facebook for First Chapter Fun. And you know, Hannah Mary McKinnon and I love First Chapter Fun, and we love having you here. But it is just never a dull moment. We write suspense, and sort of the epitome of suspense is whether the technical stuff is going to work at 12:30 every Tuesday and Thursday. Hey Daisy, good morning to you on Facebook, and thank you for leaving a comment. So I know that you are all here with us this afternoon for First Chapter Fun. Yay, Alan. Kat is here, and Margaret's here, and Al Pessin is here, whose book we are reading today, Sandblast. A very fast-paced, very timely, very contemporary thriller, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Hi, Glennie. Hi, Hannah is here on Facebook now and on Instagram doing double duty, as we all do. I'm Hank Philippi Ryan. It's now 12:31 on Thursday, and I'm here on Instagram and here on Facebook for this edition, which is number 93. Is that possible? 93 of First Chapter Fun, where every Tuesday and Thursday at 12:30 a.m., Hannah Mary McKinnon and I read you the first chapter of a fabulous new book, or a book that we love. Hannah's saying, you got a haircut. I did. I did. This is so funny, just because it's just us. My hairdresser, the guy who I've been going to for 20 years, is this what you want to hear about? Now comes to our backyard and cuts my hair in the backyard. So that was quite a moment with all the birds chirping and the sun shining and a lot of extension cords. So one thing that we're going to be doing together as we get to know each other better on First Chapter Fun is we can have the joy of watching my bangs grow out. Can you think of anything more fun than that? So we'll see how that works. So anyway, Hannah, sharp-eyed Hannah knows everything about my life, and we have really, it's kind of interesting how well we've gotten to know each other since we started doing this together, whenever that was, at the beginning of time. Anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm coming to you from Boston, where it's beautiful, where the first day of autumn has passed, which is crazy as it comes. The trees outside my window, and you can see it's sunny here today, no matter what I do to try to block the sun. The sun is blasting in, so you will, when you see it blasting on my face or in the background, you'll just know that we're having a beautiful day here in Boston, where the trees are already turning red and yellow, and I can't decide whether that's good or bad. But just like everything else in the world, at least nature seems to know how to keep everything in control a little bit. Deborah says, I've been growing out my bangs since COVID began. Yeah, nobody's going to see you, I figure, except for every Tuesday and Thursday at 12:30 p.m. here on First Chapter Fun and on the millions of Zooms that I do. So this can be our secret project. Bonner is here, and Barbara is here, and Elizabeth is here. Carol, good morning. Daisy, hi again, and Carla. Glennie, it's so nice to see you. And I see Julie Dalton, Julie Carrick Dalton, who waiting for the night song we will be reading in January when that comes out. Gorgeous day. She's in Boston as well, or around Boston. I'm looking on now Instagram to see who's here. I'm so pleased to see you all here today. I hear even that there's Halloween candy in stores because it's coming on to October. Not that I've been in a store. So I'm just imagining the Twizzlers and the Almond Joys that I probably won't be getting this year. It's so funny, we buy Halloween candy and say, oh, it's for the trick-or-treaters, when it's really for us, right? But now we don't have that excuse this year. But I give you permission to buy whatever, I'm just fixing my screen here, give you permission to buy whatever Halloween candy you want for whatever reason. Now that we're living in this really crazy time, we can at least we can have some Twizzlers when we want to. Hi, Susan. Nice day in Neenah, Wisconsin. And Beth is saying hello from Kansas. And Bonner says hi. Hey, Kathy. Oh, my goodness. So nice to see you. And you are our favorite person, too. Thank you. So nice to see you all here. This morning, I'm letting everybody kind of gather. Today, I know that we've started going on at 12:30 instead of 11:30, and I am not used to it. I have to tell you that I can't get my brain metabolism on the train of 12:30 quite yet. So I'm kind of stalling, kind of waiting for you all to come in a minute or two. We will be hearing Sandblast by Al Pessin, a really nail-biting contemporary thriller, and I will tell you all about that in a minute. You can see here's the cover on Instagram, and here's the cover on Facebook. The sun is not doing this justice, but it is a page-turning political contemporary foreign correspondent kind of thriller, which Al Pessin, a former foreign correspondent, knows all too well. Yes, Emily says, wish Twizzlers are on a plant-based diet. Yeah, there are some things that just sort of have to go. And I figure Twizzlers are one of them. I'm just looking. Hey, Rena, nice to see you. And yeah, Margaret Riley Thompson is saying very dark and rainy here thanks to Beta. And we hope you are all okay in the ridiculous weather, in the storms, which there are so many now that they're having to give them the Greek names instead of people's names as they always do, and the horrible fires in California. It's just scary everywhere you turn, and that's why we are so pleased that you're here now in the safety of First Chapter Fun. So shall we, thank you for permission to have Halloween candy, says Beth. My neighbor with her mask and social distancing brought me some corn candy, and Barbara too. Oh, Halloween candy from Target Drive Up. Good idea, good idea. Did you know that if you put candy corn, if you arrange it properly, it's like a cob of corn? Have you ever seen that? I couldn't believe it. Look it up on Google. Google candy corn as corn, and it just sort of never crossed my mind that a candy corn piece was exactly like a corn kernel. Little known facts that you will only know from Hannah and me here on First Chapter Fun. Hey, Michael, Michaela Hamilton, NYC, joined, waving back. And yes, Susan, I will be at the Fox Cities Book Festival virtually this year for my second year in a row. So I'm so pleased about that. Shall we read some book? Shall we read some book? Let's read a little bit of Sandblast, which is by author Al Pessin. And you know, we try to bring you a lot of different kinds of books. We read a lot of thrillers and mysteries and domestic suspense and psychological suspense. But Hannah's saying, I've never heard of candy corn. Is that true? Is that possibly true? Somebody on Facebook put a picture of candy corn up for Hannah. In real life, I would say everybody send Hannah candy corn. Although one thing, it's too expensive to send to Canada. And two, it's kind of not good. It just sort of tastes like wax. And so you have to sort of eat the little tip off first, and then the orange part, and then the yellow part. I would not, just look up a picture of candy corn, Hannah, and trust me, go get a Snickers and count your blessings, right? Are we with, does anybody actually like candy corn? I mean, it's kind of fun to eat. But anyway, I totally digress. And Al is thinking, read the book, just read the book. So I will read the book. Let me tell you a little bit about Al Pessin before I read from Sandblast. Al Pessin is an award-winning journalist, author, and playwright. His debut novel, Sandblast, was a top 5 finisher in the Unpublished Book of the Year competition at the 2018 Royal Palm Literary Awards and a shortlist selection for the 2017 Bosque Fiction Prize. His first sequel, Blowback, will be published in the spring of 2021. Al's play, Murder at the Butcher's, won the top award for scripts at the 2019 Royal Palm Literary Awards and played 4 sold-out performances in its premiere production in November 2019, which must have been so incredibly crazy awesome to hear people applauding your play. Julie's saying candy corn is revolting. Yes, and Deborah is saying I never liked candy corn. See, we are yes, and Snickers, right, Hannah? Snickers are good. Barbara's putting up a GIF on Facebook. What have I started here? What have I started? The candy corn rebellion. It's just like next time we'll talk about pumpkin spice, but now we're talking about. Let's talk about go back to Al Pessin, who is just as sweet, well, better than candy corn. Beth is saying, now I'm talking about candy corn again. Over on Facebook, Beth is saying, you are right, it does taste waxy, but mix it with some peanuts and oh my. Right, and so I say, mix it with peanuts and then just eat the peanuts and forget the candy corn. But I'll trust you, Beth, on the combination. There are some weird food combinations that are sort of where the whole is more than the sum of the parts, like applesauce and cottage cheese. I should read. I know, Al, better than candy corn. You can use that blurb on your next book, better than candy corn. Anyway, Al was a journalist for the Voice of America for 39 years. I mean, listen, Al was a journalist for the Voice of America for 39 years. That is a big deal, and really quite patriotically, profoundly wonderful, including correspondent postings in Hong Kong, Islamabad, Beijing, Jerusalem, and London. He was expelled from China after the Tiananmen Massacre occurred in 1989 for, quote, illegal news gathering and, quote, fomenting counter-revolutionary rebellion. I guess that means for being a journalist. So good for you, Al. And that is really amazingly impressive. And we thank you for that. He was a member of the White House press corps in the 1990s, making frequent trips with President Clinton. From 2006 to 11, Al covered the Pentagon, traveling with Secretaries Rumsfeld and Gates and senior military officers, including numerous stops in the Iraq and Afghanistan war zones. Al has had opinion pieces published in several prestigious newspapers and websites. He lives in Delray Beach, the coolest town in Florida. So says this bio, although I have to admit, it is a really cool town. It has a wonderful bookstore, Murder on the Beach, which is one of my favorites. If you don't know about that, look it up. With his wife, Audrey, and their precocious Labrador, Rory. What a great name for a dog. So, Sandblast. Quickly about Sandblast. Here's the cover. Again, Jen Jumba is here. Yay, we were waiting for you. I was really stalling to see when Jen would come. Okay. Now, Sandblast. I'm going to tell you about Sandblast. Sandblast came out in March of this year, and we read with the kind permission of the author and of the wonderful publisher Kensington Books. It's called The Ultimate Patriot Mission. The plane carrying the Secretary of Defense is blown out of the sky. The Defense Intelligence Agency greenlights an unprecedented response. Operation Sandblast. Pentagon Covert Ops runner Bridget Davenport must find someone to infiltrate the Taliban, get to the terrorist mastermind, and at all costs stop his plan for an attack more destructive than 9/11. Bridget finds young California-raised Afghan-American Lieutenant Faraz Abdallah. His heritage and military training make him the perfect undercover agent, but no one knows whether he can do the job. Success depends on Faraz's ability to fool the Taliban's top leaders and become a terrorist while remembering why he's really there. Bridget believes in him, but it will take everything she has to keep the president and the top brass from pulling the plug. So remember, I told you it was timely and really appropriate. So we are so thrilled to be reading to you this. You know, if you like the Jack Ryan thrillers by Tom Clancy or whoever writes for Tom Clancy now, the Jack Ryan thrillers and all those fast-paced spy thrillers with international intrigue and real global we love you too, Jen. And real global importance. That's what this is. This is, and one thing about Al's writing that I can tell you as I'm reading this is that, he is such a journalist, and this is so cinematic. So I would say to close your eyes and picture it, but I'm afraid if we all close our eyes, then we'll all just go to sleep. So don't do that. So let me read you a little bit of Sandblast and just imagine this taking place. Part 1, Chapter 1. When the young Arab man in a business suit got out of a black cab and breezed into the lobby bar in late afternoon, no one took any notice. This was the Marriott Grosvenor House in London, a haven for visiting delegations and business barons from around the world in a city with a sizable Muslim population. No fewer than 5 of the hotel's cable channels were Arabic satellite networks. Mahmoud ordered apple juice and took out his Times. If he had been arrested at that moment, and there was no reason to do so, there would have been nothing incriminating on him at all. He perused the newspaper and sipped his juice. Mahmoud had left a message for a bellboy he'd befriended at a mosque in South London. The message said he would be in the hotel and needed a small favor. It asked the young man to please meet him near the service elevator off the lower lobby at 4 o'clock. He checked his watch. 3:55. Mahmoud put a 5-pound note on the bar and took the stairs down 1 level. The bellboy was already there. "I was surprised to hear from you, Mahmoud," he said. He did not appear to be concerned. The two were about the same age and had met several times. They were both 5'7" tall, clean-shaven, and had olive complexions and similar builds. Men at the mosques had commented they had looked like brothers. "My friend," Mahmoud greeted the bellboy with a handshake and a smile. "I'm sorry to bother you, but I need your help." "Of course, I will help you if I can." Thank you. But, well, this is a confidential matter." He looked around to be sure no one else was in the service hallway, and then, as if he didn't know exactly where he was going, Mahmoud pretended to notice a large utility closet, its door ajar. "In here," he said, "just for a second." Now the bellboy gave him a suspicious look, but it was too late. Mahmoud pushed him into the closet and closed the door after them. "No, wait," said the bellboy. "Shh," said Mahmoud. "I have something to show you." "No, I will not." The bellboy continued to protest, but Mahmoud reached under a shelf and removed a small packet, ripped it open, and pressed a cloth to the young man's face. The bellboy passed out before he could make another sound. Mahmoud paused. He had impressed himself. It had all gone as it did in practice. No problems, no hesitation. That gave him confidence for the work yet to be done. Under another shelf, he found the second packet, this one with a pair of plastic gloves and a carefully forged hotel name tag. It said, Mahmoud. Mahmoud put on the gloves, removed the young man's uniform, and put it on himself. Dark blue trousers with a black stripe down the sides, a white shirt, and a pullover tunic matching the pants. It fit well, as expected. He replaced the bellboy's name tag with his, and made sure the pass key was in the pants pocket. Mahmoud took the money and 2 handkerchiefs out of his own trousers, now crumpled on the floor. He opened a large plastic garbage bin and tossed in his clothes and the young man's name tag. Then he hefted the bellboy into it. The head faced Mahmoud with closed eyes, then lolled to the right. Now Mahmoud found the final packet under a third shelf. He took out the gun, screwed in the silencer, put it against the center of the bellboy's forehead, and fired. The young man's head jerked back, and his body convulsed. Mahmoud was briefly startled, but he composed himself, put the gun and the gloves into the bin, and made sure to properly seal the lid, protecting his hands with the handkerchiefs. Mahmoud cracked open the closet door and peeked into the hallway. Still clear. He left the closet, locked the door, and took the service elevator to the 9th floor. Using the dead bellboy's key, he went into a small storage room filled with cleaning supplies, linens, and other housekeeping items. In the back of the room was a stack of yellow plastic buckets labeled floor wax. He removed the upper rows until he could access the bucket at the bottom left. He opened it. It did not contain floor wax. Seeing the black backpack in the bucket made Mahmoud pause again. Until now, he had been remarkably calm. He went through the motions of capturing and killing the bellboy, as he had dozens of times in practice sessions. He put the bullet into the young man's head as easily as he had fired an empty gun at the head of his trainer at the safe house, again and again. He now understood why the man had made him do it so many times. But looking at the backpack, he realized now how close he was to his goal, how close he was to performing the will of Allah. He caught his breath, felt his heart race. Mahmoud removed the backpack and put the lid back onto the bucket. He restacked the other containers on top of it and left the storage room. Carrying the backpack by its top handle as a bellboy would, he returned to the service elevator. On the 6th floor, he headed for room 626. The door was open, and a handwritten sign read, "Delegation Baggage." No one was inside. Across the hall, several men worked behind a partly opened door labeled "Control," but none of them paid any attention to Mahmoud. Room 626 was almost empty. All the furniture, including the bed, had been removed. There were a few suitcases and other bags on the floor along the far wall, under the windows looking out onto Hyde Park. The bags had delegation tags on them, each with a name, a list of destinations and room numbers, and a small American flag. The tags were tied to the luggage with white strings. Mahmoud untied a tag labeled "Mr. Goff, Brussels, Kabul, Baghdad, London," and tied it to his backpack. He opened the top zipper. His heart pounding now, he removed several books to reveal a metal box and reached down its side to feel for the switch. He flipped it. A red light flashed once. He put the books back in, closed the backpack, put it behind the other bags, and turned to leave. He had been in the room for less than a minute. As he left, one of the men across the hall saw him. "Hey," said the man, "where's that other guy?" "Went home sick," replied Mahmoud. "Can I help you, sir?" "No, it's okay." And the man went back to his work. Mahmoud went to the public men's room on the main floor, where he stashed the bellboy's tunic in a trash bin. He went out on the far side of the hotel toward the park and hailed a taxi. Within seconds, he was lost in the traffic on the first leg of a trip that would crisscross London via taxi, bus, and train before it took him back to the safe house. Mission accomplished. As the afternoon wore on, civilian officials, military officers, and the journalists who were traveling with them dropped their luggage in room 626 to be sent ahead to the plane while they finished their work. Nearly everyone had an extra laptop in one of their bags. Many had other equipment, codecs, recorders, mixers, modems. By evening, when the security team came to take the bags to the plane, they were overflowing into the corridor. Mahmoud's bags, with its metal box and tangle of wire, would have drawn attention at any normal airport security checkpoint. But it would not stand out among these bags, packed with electronics that belonged to known, vetted, and trusted holders of delegation credentials. At midnight, a police escort led the way as the delegation's motorcade rolled through a misty drizzle onto the North Holt Royal Air Force Base, 45 miles west of London. Its plane was already loaded and ready for the overnight flight to Washington. The aircraft was an impressive-looking but aging Boeing 747, configured for government use, white with a wide blue stripe along its fuselage, an American flag painted on its tail, and "United States of America" emblazoned on its side. A small, shivering team of British officials lined up on the tarmac to offer farewell handshakes and small gifts of English tea. The tired delegation members and their press corps managed weak smiles and quick thank yous before dragging them up the stairs onto the plane for the last time this trip. After takeoff, some tried to go to sleep in their seats or grab some floor space to lie down. Others worked on their laptops and shared the few internet access cables. In keeping with tradition on the final leg, the boss's favorite beer was served with pretzels. 3 hours later, when the explosion ripped the plane apart, most of the passengers were sleeping, including the Secretary of Defense. End of chapter one. End of chapter one. I mean, see what I mean? Is that so visual? Can you just see what's happening there? How really, it does, Beth, reminds you of the Jason Bourne books. Absolutely so. Jenna's saying, don't stop. Yeah, I know. It's really, really compelling. And chapter 2, which I wish, I know what you meant. I'd stop. It's really, really compelling. And chapter 2 then begins at the Pentagon when we meet Bridget Davenport, who is going to be so pivotal in trying to figure out how to stop what is clearly going to be a continuing attack on the government and of America. So yeah, you can tell this is Sandblast. I'm going to fix this. Sandblast by Al Pessin. That is really the explosive first chapter, and I do mean explosive, sorry about that, chapter of Sandblast. And it is a page turner from then on. And Carol is saying, yes, suspense. And Al has now said the winner. We do have a, what do you call that word? Giveaway, a giveaway today of Sandblast. And Al is saying the winner of Sandblast is Jill Montgomery. Lucky you, Jill, for people on Facebook. Lucky you for getting to read Sandblast, a real page-turning Jason Bourne, Jack Ryan kind of thriller. And we thank Al and Kensington for letting us read from Sandblast today. So we hope you're having fun at this new time on First Chapter Fun. Are there books that you'd like us to read? Are there things that you'd like us to hear and read to you? Please let us know. We are open for all suggestions. And we have so many wonderful books coming up for you. As the days progress, and so many surprises. Hannah and I have really been cooking up some wonderful things, giveaways and prizes and talks and chats and new events and all kinds of things for all of you at First Chapter Fun. So I'm loving seeing some new names here today. Thank you so much. Do bring your friends. Do tell your friends. Don't forget that if you missed this, of course I'm telling you that you, because you're already here, so why am I telling you this? But if you miss any one of these events, they are all archived on Facebook in our videos, and now there are 93 of them. You can read them whenever you want or hear them whenever you want. And here on Instagram, they are all on IGTV, so you can watch them whenever you like. Just dip into them, as I always say, like a little box of First Chapter chocolates, and that's always fun. So next Tuesday, I guess, is the next time we will be here together. Look at what we have. What You Don't See by our own dear First Chapter Fun pal and colleague Tracy Clark. This is such an exceptional book. They talk about, in publishing, they talk about voicey, voicey, that a book is really voicey, and this is truly voicey. This is sort of a very contemporary thriller, but it sort of has the back and forth of Tracy and Hepburn or Nick and Nora in Chicago in contemporary times. The dialogue is absolutely wonderful, and the story is wonderful, and we adore Tracy Clark, who is with us here on First Chapter Fun so often, and that will be right here on Tuesday at 12:30. I'm going to look at you. Yeah, it is a beautiful cover, Rena. Jen says, whatever you and Hannah do is the best. That is so nice of you. Thank you. But, we wouldn't be here with this without you. And so we are so grateful that you are here with us every Tuesday and Thursday. Hannah Mary McKinnon and Hank Phillip Uriah, me. Hannah in Toronto and me here in Boston, and you all across the globe here on First Chapter Fun. And Jen says she especially likes the ado. We like the ado too. And it's really great. Thank you, Emily. Emily says, great job as always, Hank. Thank you. It's a responsibility to read these books. So Hannah and I love it. Al Pessin, the author, says thank you. We are very pleased to read from Sandblast by Al Pessin. Here you are on Instagram again. And on Tuesday, What You Don't See by our darling Tracy Clark. So Al is always here, and Tracy is always here, and so many authors come to hear their own books read, and that allows you to talk to them. So do leave on Facebook, here on Facebook, leave a question for the author. They will come back and answer them. How was it like? What was it like being a foreign correspondent? What was it like traveling on the press plane? What was it like in those war conditions? How much do we not know? How much are you not allowed to tell us? Did you ever know classified information? All that kind of stuff. Al will answer all of that on Facebook, not on Instagram, because the minute we put this on IGTV, all of your gorgeous comments go away. That's why I'm scrolling through them now, so I don't miss any of you. So, okay, let's go back to our real lives for the day, although this is kind of our real life. This is a big part of our real lives, and we are very pleased that you're with us here on Instagram and here on Facebook for today's edition number 93 of First Chapter Fun. So I will say it now, you say it with me. Stay safe, stay kind, and we love you so much. See you the next time.